Have you ever wondered who those random employees are and why they aren't dropping what they're doing to help you shop or look for something or grab something down for you? I mean, they are working, are they not? The truth is, there is a whole behind the scenes in every retail chain that you may not be aware of. So let's find out what that is on today's episode of Coffee with Tori. And welcome to another episode of Coffee with Tori. If you're new here, smash the subscribe button and introduce yourself in the comments below. I'd love to say hi to all of my new friends. You know, there's this really weird phenomenon going on in all retail stores that a lot of customers don't seem to fully understand what's going on. I mean, think about it. You're out in the mall or at your favorite department store or some random store in the middle of a shopping center. You go in with a mission and you cannot find what you're looking for. And you're like, you know what? Let me just ask somebody that works here. Now, granted, there is employees behind the cash register ready to help you, or even somebody at the very front of the store that greeted you when you came in. But like many customers, and you might be guilty of this too, you go to the person that is on top of a ladder, the person who's crawling on the floor covered in dust, the person that has 20 million go backs in their hands, and you stop them dead in their tracks and you ask, hey, where can I find this particular item? And they might look at you with a bit of annoyance, like, all right, let me help you. Have you ever experienced this before? Have you ever wondered, okay, well now, isn't your job to help me shop for things? What's with the attitude? Let me help you understand what's going on. So in most retail stores, especially nowadays, there are 3 different teams, if you will, that are running the back end of the store. These are not your front office people. These are not your frontline workers. Your frontline workers are going to be your customer service people, the ones at the customer service desk, the ones who are checking you out, the person at the front of the store that greets you when you walk in. That's your frontline crew. We're not talking about them today. That is going to be a whole separate episode all by itself. What we're talking about are the back end crew, the behind the scenes of retail, if you will. So part of that team, we've got the visual team, the operations and BOPUS team, and then our logistics and training team. Let's start with our visual team first. I know quite a bit about that because when I was in retail, that was the team that I was on. In fact, I was a leader of that team in most cases. So your visual team, set that down. The visual team are the people whose sole purpose is to make the store look pretty. That's all they do. They are the ones who, they don't necessarily get the product out of the back, but they do know what the product is and where it is going to be located or where it is currently located, because their job is to really elevate it and to make it look gorgeous. Think about some of those really nice stores you go into, like your Nordstrom's, your Barney's, your Saks, like these big department stores. The smaller stores like your Anthropologie, your Free People, like Rag & Bone, like Madewell. Those really nice stores that you go in and it's always beautiful. You know, you go in, everything is nice and folded. It's crisp and clean. You can find your size. Everything is perfect. Those places, the reason it looks the way it does is because they have a visual person or a visual team doing all of that work on the back end. They come in usually before the dawn. Sometimes it's 6, sometimes it's overnight, depending on the store. And they work tirelessly to make the store perfect. The outfitting is on point. All of the accessories make sense with the outfit. Like when you go in and you look at the mannequins and you're like, I want the entire outfit that's on that mannequin. That's the visual team. That's what they do. Now, when they are in the middle of doing things, they are not thinking about anything else other than their visuals. Because for them, they're able to provide that amazing customer service through the physical of the store, through making sure the store is beautiful, it's creative, and it makes you want to come in and shop. That's how they contribute to your shopping experience. So if you interrupt them, you're completely throwing off their flow of creativity. Think about it in your job, right? Imagine you're an accountant. For example, let's say you sit in an office all day, you're running numbers, you have to be very detailed in your numbers, you have to make sure that everything lines up correct. That way the balance sheets are balanced, all the Excel documents look good, all those things. Now imagine somebody from marketing comes into your office and they're like, hey, can you help me find this thing? And you're just like, I don't have time for that. Sorry. Like, I know it's important for you to get this thing, and I know that the client needs it. I know that the boss is looking for this. I get that. But like right now, I literally need to make sure that these numbers are lining up correctly. I cannot help you look for this. I cannot stop what I'm doing to help you find this piece of paper that you need for your marketing presentation. I'm sorry. That is how the visual teams usually feel when they are there, when the store is open. Like, yes, they will most likely know where everything is. And a majority of the time, they don't mind answering that question for you of like, hey, where's this thing at? Most likely, them or operations is going to know where it's at. So it's okay to ask them. But your frontline crew, the frontline workers are the ones that you really should be asking these questions to. The person who greeted you at the door, the people behind the register checking people out, the random sales associates that are just walking around aimlessly asking everybody if you need help. They are the ones to talk to because they are there to sell. They're there to help you shop. They are your stylists. They're the ones helping you with the fitting room. They're the ones looking for additional sizes for you. That's who you go to. The visual, you can tell if they're visuals. I guarantee you can tell because 9 out of 10 times they look very focused. They are probably hanging from a ladder. They most likely have 1,000 clothes hanging off of their body. Hardware, they've got a little cart next to them. All these different things will show you that this is the visual person. They are in the middle of a floor set. They're in the middle of making the store beautiful so you can have a great environment to shop in. So give your visual team some love the next time you're out shopping. Thank them for what they're doing because if it wasn't for them, everything would be on the floor and it would be a hot mess express in that store. No disrespect to Ross, but that's what the store would look like if they weren't there. Now, although the visual team is really good at what they do, and if it wasn't for them, the entire store would be on the floor, the visual team cannot do their job without the operations team. Now, operations is generally broken up into a couple of different categories. So we're going to talk about how operations and visuals work well together. So the ops people are the ones who handle all of the backroom stuff. Like they're the ones who make sure the shipment gets processed, it gets hung, it gets to the floor, it does all those different things. Now for every store, operations does a little bit of different things, but for the most part, they're in charge of the shipping and the receiving. So if operations was not doing their job, if all of the shipment was still in boxes, they were not hung, all those different things, the visual team has nothing to put on the floor, and therefore you have nothing to shop, and it's a whole thing. So in order for visuals to be successful in what they do, the operations team needs to be on point. Now, I've worked in a bunch of different stores with how they handle their ops, but for the most part, in general, there's usually one person responsible for the entirety of the operations team. And then underneath them, there's captains or leads or associates or whatever that handle different aspects of that team. So for example, I worked at one store where they had a stockroom captain. This person was responsible for just unpackaging the shipment. They weren't responsible necessarily for doing anything else. Their whole goal in life was to get everything out of the boxes, get it steamed, get it folded or hung or whatever, and placed in the back room until it was time to place it on the floor. And then sometimes they would physically place it on the floor themselves. Sometimes, visuals would do it. But for the most part, their job was just to get it out of the boxes and get it prepped and ready to be placed on the floor. I've worked in other places where the operations team not only unboxed everything and got it hung, but they also put it on the floor. Now, granted, when they do that, it does get a little complicated for the visual team because if the ops person who's handling the stocking things don't know where everything goes, then visuals kind of have a double work to do because now they have to replace the stuff that was placed because it was put in the wrong spot. But each store is a little bit different. And then I worked in other places where they get it all out of the boxes, they get everything hung, they get everything folded, and then they put it in a specific place for the visuals to go ahead and place it themselves. Operations doesn't place it, visual places it in the morning when they come in to do whatever they're going to do. So regardless of what the system is, for the most part, there is a stock person. And without that stockroom person or that person who does the shipping and the receiving, if you will, there is no way visuals can do their job. And if visuals can't do their job, then the store looks like a mess and then you can't shop and it's just a whole big thing. In addition to the stockroom personnel, operations is also responsible for the BOPIS team or the buy online, pick up in store. Now, let's just be honest and leave a comment below How many of us have bought something online and was like, you know what, let me just run to the store and go pick it up. I don't feel like looking around. I don't want to walk around trying to find this thing. I just want to buy it now online. And then when I get there in the store, it should be packaged and ready for me to pick it up. I'm going to tell you right now, that doesn't happen magically. There isn't some like weird robotic mechanic AI thing that's making it so that way they can just find the items or whatever. No, there is a person or persons responsible for finding those items that you purchased, putting them in the bag or putting them in the box, putting them in the pickup section for you to just casually walk into the store and grab it. Those people are on a time crunch. Because think about it. Imagine you order something, right? Let's say you have an event you're going to. You're like, okay, I need this item for this event I'm going to tonight. And I don't have time to go shopping for it. I found it online. I know what I want. I'm just going to order it. And then it should be ready in a couple of hours. I'm going to go and grab it and then we're done. Now imagine this is you. You're on a time crunch and you expect your item to be where it's supposed to be at the time that was promised to you. Now imagine there's somebody else in the store who is shopping for who knows what. They need a lot of assistance in their shopping. They need someone to hold their hand and show them where everything is. They are expecting a full in-store shopping experience. Now imagine that person who needs that experience takes the BOPIS person away from their job. They have taken that person away from shopping for your item and packaging it and getting it ready for you. They have taken them away. And now that person is shopping with this other person, which means now your item is not ready for you at the time because the BOPIS person is busy helping somebody else. Imagine how frustrated you would be in that situation. This is why the buy online, pick up in store, the ship from store people, the ones who have to ship the items out, they need to be left alone because their job is the online customer. Again, our frontline person, our frontline people are for the in-store people. The people at the front door who greeted you in, the sales associates who are walking around, checking in with everybody, the people at the cash register checking you out. Those are the in-store frontline people. And if you have a question, feel free to go and ask them any and everything, because that is what they're there for. And they make their presence known. They're the ones who are coming up to you saying, hey, how can I help you? Hey, what are you looking for? They are so in your face, you cannot miss them. That is who you bother. That is who you ask your questions to. That is who helps you shop. But your visual team and your operations team, don't even talk to them because they are busy helping the other customer. The visual team is helping the in-store customer have a fabulous in-store shopping experience, a clean store where they can find everything, where their size is easy to find, where the outfits are put together, where all they have to do is say, hey, I want the outfit on that mannequin. That's what your visual team is for. The operations team is making sure everything gets out of the back so you have something to shop for. And the BOPIS and ship from store team is handling the online customers. And if you were an online customer, you would be so upset if the person who was supposed to take care of you was stuck taking care of somebody else because that person didn't have enough respect for you as the online customer. So give your operations team and your visual team some love the next time you guys go out and about shopping. All right. So the last team we're going to talk about is logistics and training. Now, these are kind of the like back office team. You won't really see them on the floor unless they're training. And usually this is the team that is kind of ran by the manager, if you will. Like they're the ones who was learning how to do whatever they need to learn how to do. New hires are usually part of this team. When it comes to the training team, oh my goodness, you guys have to be patient with them. You know, like they're new. They don't know what they're doing. Think about when you first started your job, right? You had no idea what you were doing. Think like fresh out of college or you're changing careers or whatever. You had no idea what you're doing and you just wanted everyone to be just a little patient with you as you figured it out. This is what the training team is all about. They are training the new hires who have no idea how to do what they're doing. They are just learning. They're really enthusiastic and really nice and really excited, but they're still new and they're still learning. Oftentimes, the training team is ran by the manager because the manager is the one that wants to set the standard. They're the ones who are like, hey, this is what I expect. This is what I want from you. This is all the different things. But sometimes, especially in retail, the training manager just doesn't have time. And so they'll usually pass, if you will, that person off to one of the other managers or maybe a seasoned associate to teach that person how to do different things. If you find yourself in that situation, just be patient. They're still learning. I mean, think about it. Like, imagine if it were you, right? Like, imagine if you were stuck in that situation where you're just like, I'm still learning. I want to do a really good job. I just don't know how this works. And there was some really mean person on the other side of the register being all like, like, imagine how you would feel, right? Like, wouldn't you be like a little scared? Or maybe even you would just be like, I don't even want to work here anymore. And now that poor store is short-staffed and you're really not going to get the help that you want. So keep that in mind with the training team. They're still learning. They're still new. And once they get it, oh my gosh, you're going to have such an amazing shopping experience the next time you come in because they will know exactly how to take care of you and how to get you with what you need. So just keep that in mind when it comes to the training team. Now, logistics, you're really not going to see them. They are what I like to call the phantoms of the retail world. You might see a glimpse of them during like inventory or during like hiring procedures or something like that. Like, they live their best life in the office. They are not on the floor. That is not their thing. Granted, sometimes they might come out if things are kind of crazy and hectic and, you know, they just need help. But for the most part, you're not going to see logistics. They're in the back in the office minding their business and not interacting with anybody. All right, so we talked about the three major teams within the behind the scenes of retail. And I'm sure a lot of you probably didn't even know they existed. Now, my friends in retail, you guys know this so well because sometimes your job ends up kind of like cross mingling with the other people's jobs, which is, to say the least, not very fun. Like, I remember I had a job once where like I was on the visual team. And at some point in time, my job very quickly merged into someone else's job. And that's has happened actually a couple of times. So maybe we'll do an episode all about that. Drop a comment below if you want to hear about what that looks like. But my point is, when you have various teams designed to do different things, it's so important that those teams stick to what those teams are supposed to do. If our behind the scenes people end up working as the frontline people, then yes, the frontline in customer, like the people in store, like they will absolutely have the experience that they're wanting. Sure. But think about all of the things that make the retail space work. They won't anymore. And I have definitely seen firsthand what happens when people start cross-mingling within their roles. When operations isn't doing operations, when visual is not doing visuals, and logistics aren't doing logistics. What happens is the entire structure falls apart. You've got people that become burnt out, managers expecting things that just aren't possible because the teams aren't doing their jobs, customers who are both in store and out of store start feeling it, profits start falling, and it's a whole big mess. So just keep that in mind the next time you're shopping out and about, that there are behind the scenes of retail. There isn't, not everybody that's on the sales floor is actually supposed to be doing customer service. Your customer service people, they make their presence very, very known. They are very vocal about who they are. They are, like I've said at the beginning, they're the ones who are right there at the front of the store. Hi, welcome into ABCD store. My name is blah, blah, blah. How can I help you? They're the ones at the register. Like, did you find everything all right? Is there anything I can help you find today? Is there anything you're missing I can grab for you? They're your people in the fitting rooms who are like, yeah, let me get a fitting room started for you. What size do you need? And they're the people who are on the sales floor saying like, hey, is there something I can grab down for you? Is there anything I can help you find? Those frontline people, they're the ones that you talk to. They're the ones who are there to help you in your shopping experience. They're excited to help you. They want to help you. But the back end people, the behind the scenes people, that's not their thing. The visual team, they're there to make it beautiful. They cannot help you shop and make the store pretty at the same time. Have you ever done laundry? I know. Just go with me for a second. Have you ever completed your own laundry at home? I mean, I'm talking start to finish, not like me, where sometimes I do my laundry and then I throw it in a basket and then it sits in the basket for like 3 weeks until I have to do laundry again. No. I mean, have you actually completed laundry from start to finish? You wash your stuff, you dry your stuff, and then you sit down and you put on a movie, maybe a podcast or something like that, and you fold your clothes. You hang your clothes just right. You put them in the closet or in the drawers the way that they're supposed to be. That whole process takes like what? 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 hours to do. Now imagine if you're sitting on the floor, folding your laundry, hanging the laundry, getting ready to put it away, and somebody is all like, I need you to change a light bulb. And you're like, the light bulb is important. Yes. But I'm doing laundry and we need the laundry to not to be on the floor and we need it to be hung and it needs to be in the drawer. So no, that is how the visual team feels. They are there to make sure the laundry is where it goes. They are there to make sure that everything is folded, it's sized, to make sure that it's hung and the outfits make sense. If you pull them away from that, everything will be on the floor. The operations team, same thing. They are there to make sure the operations of the store are intact. Actually, they're the ones who probably should be changing the light bulb, just saying. But they also handle your online customers. And if you were the online customer, would you really appreciate it if the person who was supposed to take care of you was now pulled away to take care of somebody else? Exactly. So just keep these things in mind the next time you're out and about shopping. And, we talked about a lot of different things on today's episode. That's kind of given me a lot of ideas for some new episodes. So drop a comment below if there's any one thing from this particular episode you'd like for me to explore about. I'd love to hear y'all's feedback. Anyways, we will continue this discussion on the next episode of Coffee with Tori. Have a good one.